Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're setting out to explore something foundational, maybe even a bit hidden, that really shaped our tech world: cybernetics.
That's right. It's a concept that often flies under the radar now, but its impact has been huge.
Exactly. And we're using David A. Mindell's paper as a guide here. He traces how it grew out of very practical military problems, but then became this kind of global philosophy of technology.
And what's really fascinating, I think, is just how it jumped beyond those origins. It wasn't just influential in one place. It sparked conversations and influenced thinking pretty much across the globe.
Well, across the globe, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's back up a bit for everyone listening. What is cybernetics really at its heart, and why should you still care about it today?
Well, fundamentally, cybernetics is the study of how systems control themselves, specifically looking at human-machine interaction. It's all built on these core ideas: feedback, control, and communication.
Feedback, control, communication. Okay.
Think of like a simple thermostat in your house. It senses the temperature, that's
Yeah.
communication. It compares it to the setting and turns the heat on or off, that's control. And the changing temperature influences its next action, that's the feedback loop.
Like a closed loop.
Exactly. And it's both, quantitative, you can measure these things, but also a qualitative tool, a way of thinking. That's why Mindell calls it a philosophy of technology, characterized by this universal idea of feedback.
And the key figure here, the person who really coined the term and wrote the book, was Norbert Wiener back in 1948. Cybernetics,
Hmm?
or control and communication in the animal and the machine.
That's the one. But his thinking started earlier, really took shape during World War II.
How so? What was the connection?
He was working for the U.S. National Defense Research Committee, the NDRC, on a really tough problem called fire control.
Fire control, like shooting down planes.
Precisely. Trying to predict where an enemy aircraft, which is actively trying not to be hit, would be in the next few seconds so anti-aircraft guns could actually hit it.
Wow, that sounds incredibly complex.
It was. And wrestling with that problem led Wiener to a more general theory about predicting the future of any kind of data series based on its past. We call it time series analysis.
So not just planes, but maybe
Yeah.
economic trends
Mm.
or population changes.
Anything, yeah. Anything where you have sequential data points over time. He saw this underlying mathematical structure, but interestingly, he got quite frustrated.
Frustrated. Why?
Well, his specific fire control solutions weren't directly implemented during the war in the way he'd hoped, and this sort of pushed him to think bigger beyond the immediate military need.
So he shifted focus.
He did. He started looking more towards physiology and neurology. He saw the human pilot, or the gunner, not just as a person operating a machine, but as an integral part of the feedback system itself.
So the human became part of the circuit.
Exactly. And that elevated control and communication from just an engineering problem to something, well, universal, applicable to biology, society, minds, machines, everything.
And this broader vision, this is what led to things like the Macy conferences in the 40s.
Yes, those are pivotal. You had these amazing gatherings of people from totally different fields: John von Neumann, the computer pioneer; Claude Shannon, the information theorist; Margaret Mead, the anthropologist.
Wow, what a mix.
Right. And they were all there exploring how these ideas of systems, feedback, and information could connect everything. They were drawing analogies between, say, how a brain works and how a digital computer might work. Really groundbreaking discussions.
It's interesting that you mentioned its global reach, because while cybernetics as a distinct field maybe faded a bit in the US over time, it stayed really influential elsewhere, particularly Europe.
That's a key point Mindell makes. It really took hold internationally. In France, for instance, it sparked huge philosophical debates among scientists about its implications.
And didn't it have a strange journey in the Soviet Union, too?
Oh, absolutely. Initially, it was denounced, bourgeois pseudoscience, but then partly because the great Russian mathematician Kolmogorov had independently developed similar ideas about time series, they kind of reversed course and embraced it. They could frame it differently.
So it found fertile ground in different ways across different political systems.
It did. And there were even attempts at large-scale practical application, like Stafford Beer, an Englishman who tried to apply cybernetic principles to manage Chile's entire economy in the early 70s under Alemda Faure. Project Cybersyn.
Manage an entire economy. Wow. So bringing this all together, what's the big takeaway? Cybernetics might not be a university department name you see often now, but its ghost is kind of everywhere.
I think that's a good way to put it. It was this incredibly fertile progenitor. Fields like artificial intelligence, systems theory, modern computer science, they all owe a huge debt to those early cybernetic ideas.
And the way we interact with computers, too.
Definitely. Think about J.C.R. Licklider's vision of man-computer symbiosis. He was deeply influenced by cybernetics. His idea wasn't just about computers calculating things faster, it was about humans and computers working together interactively in a feedback loop.
Like a dialogue.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that vision directly paved the way for interactive computing, graphical interfaces, and ultimately the ARPANET.
The precursor to the internet we all use constantly.
The very same.
So it makes you wonder, doesn't it? We talk about cybersecurity, cyberspace, even things like Cyber Monday.
Yeah.
But how much do we actually recognize those original cybernetic principles, the feedback, the control, the communication that are still running beneath the surface of almost everything we do technologically?
That's the lingering question. Maybe the next time you adjust your smart thermostat or see a personalized ad online, you'll pause and sense those invisible cybernetic loops at work. Ideas born from trying to shoot down planes over half a century ago. It's a powerful legacy.